call your mother. Today's rant is about the shape of the earth.
Yeah, Flat Earth is the dumbest hoax in human history. Jamar just watched some videos by Eric Dubé, who just spews a bunch of bullshit, memorized what he says, and repeats it and pretends to be intelligent. Instead, everything you say is so insanely stupid and can be disproven with, like, middle school level physics.
That this even needs to be discussed in 2024? Where we have Apple Vision Pros and reusable space rocket boosters and AI and driverless cars and I mean
But go ahead, tell me why you have pressurized air next to a vacuum of space, sir.
Okay, so this is really adorable. You think that space is a vacuum cleaner because you don't know what a vacuum is? You don't know what vacuum means. What's a vacuum? What does vacuum mean? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. What the fuck is a vacuum?
It has no air. It's, you know.
It's an absence of matter. Mm-hmm. So why the fuck would the vacuum of space pull air anywhere? Can you explain that?
A vacuum also pulls things, sir.
No, it doesn't. Vacuums don't suck. That's not a thing.
If vacuum is
so you don't know what a vacuum is,
Dave.
right?
A vacuum is the absence of matter, right?
Yeah. So why would that pull air anywhere?
So we just have absence of matter next to pressurized air.
Yes, which sticks to the Earth because of gravity, which again you pretend doesn't
Which
exist.
sticks to the Earth, so it's spinning with the Earth.
I have the definition
at 1,000 miles an hour.
Okay, so
I have the definition.
Really jump into all the favorite talking points. So the Earth spins once per day.
Yo, bro.
That's what a day is. Did you know that? Do you know what a day means? It's how long it takes the Earth to spin around one time. So all of this 1,000 miles an hour bullshit just makes you sound like an idiot because it spins once a day. It spins at half the rate of the hour hand on a clock. Not so fast, is it?
Well,
okay. First of all, the Earth is not flat. It's just not. Yo, for real, it's just not. The Earth is not flat. That this even needs to be in a video right now is just insane to me. That this even needs to be f***ing addressed at all is wild to me. Just wild. The way the laws of physics work, every object has gravity because of the way space-time works, right? Space and time are intertwined, as far as we can tell. And gravity kind of plays into that as well, right? The stronger, the more massive an object is, the more it distorts space around it, which in turn, causes things that are in that space to move closer to it. I'm simplifying. I'm being purposefully simple about this. Literally everything, every object with mass has gravity. This shirt has gravity, these locks have gravity, the phone that you're watching this on has gravity. And the wild thing about gravity is that we don't actually know what it is. We just know how it works, right? We haven't been able to actually detect gravity per se as a thing. Yeah, we don't actually know what gravity is fundamentally, like legit. You know what I'm saying? We know how it behaves very well. We can observe it, we can experiment with it, we can use it for things. For instance, when we send probes into outer space and use the gravitational pull of the planet to slingshot around celestial objects and stuff like that. We have some ideas of what gravity is. We think that they may be made up, that it may be like a wave that propagates, made up of gravitons. I don't want to get too nerdy now. I say all this to say we don't necessarily know what gravity is, but we know how it works very, very, very well. In fact, I can demonstrate it. Here's a phone, right? I'm holding it up. Right now, the entire planet Earth is pulling on this phone. This device right now that I'm holding up is being attracted to the center of the Earth right now. It's also being attracted to the hand that's holding it, to these locks that I have in my head, the microphone that is in front of me right now, the camera that is recording this. All these physical objects exert some pull of gravity on this device. The largest object has the strongest pull. The Earth, being the largest object in any of our existences that we can relate to, right? Generally speaking, has the strongest pull. So when I drop this, it's not gonna go towards my hand. It's not gonna go towards these photos of my beautiful family here. It's not gonna go towards the camera. It's gonna go to the center of the largest object, which is the Earth. So here we go, here's a demonstration. Boom, right? That's gravity. We don't know what it is, but we do know how it works. And we also know that over time, gravity can accomplish some incredible things. For instance, when stars explode and go supernova, they release atoms of different types. So for instance, our sun, which is a fairly average star in the universe, it's not remarkable at all. As great and awesome as it is for us, it's the #1 largest source of light that we all know of. It's 93 million miles away and can still burn you. Like, it's pretty freaking amazing, right? But it's average as far as stars go. We, through observation of the universe and other stars within the universe, right, have been able to, how should I put this? Over time, we see this happening in the universe all over the place. We can look at, stellar nebulas, right, which are humongous clouds of gas and dust. I mean, some of these are billions of miles, wide and tall, and just huge clouds that if the Earth were inside one of them would be like a tiny dot inside this humongous cloud. That's how big they are. The pillars of creation is a famous one that, I think most people have seen already. It's the image of the three, I think there's 3, maybe more, but there's these clouds that form these like big, huge pillars. And in there, we can see stars being formed all the time. Stars form from stellar nebulas, from nebulas, basically, these clouds of gas. Over time, these particles attract each other, and then they start to clump and form small masses. Over time, these masses get bigger and bigger and bigger. And as all this material starts, trying to coalesce and push towards, a central point, things heat up, things get hot. For some of these interactions, the heat does not overcome, I should say, I'm trying to simplify this in like a really simple way for all you idiots out there that think the Earth is flat. Put it like this: if you squeeze your hands really tight together for a very, very long time, say you take some sand. Let's do it simply. Take some sand, right? And put it in your hand, wet sand, put it in your hand, squeeze it into a ball, right? The more pressure you apply to that ball, the more tightly packed the grains of sand are on the inside of the ball versus the outside of it, right? Imagine, if you could, over a period of, a few billion years, this process happening where all this mass just kind of just gets squished into a ball, essentially, because of how gravity works. Over time, some of those masses will ignite because of a process called fusion, not fission, fusion. Let me double check, because I'm not an idiot, and I want to make sure I'm right on this. So it's fusion, essentially. It's stellar fusion. That phenomenon produces a star, essentially, over time. You know, these are objects that are humongous, massive, basically nuclear furnaces that burn, I guess. They don't technically burn, but, you know, for sake of a better word, they burn for billions of years, these things. Billions of years. A lot of people who doubt the shape of the earth and all this kind of stuff don't understand, you know, evolution, things like this. They don't understand that we're talking processes that happen over billions and billions of years. This is not, you know, hey, you put it in the oven and a microwave and in, you know, 15 minutes you get, you know, whatever. This is over billions of years. A lot of these things have been happening billions of years before the earth was even formed. And we know that the earth is about 4.5, maybe 6 billion years old, something like that. I think it's 4.5. I'll put the actual number here. But yeah, that's how old the earth is. Some of those reactions actually don't create stars. Some of them don't get enough material or mass or whatever, you know, to, you know, create stars. So some of them will become gas giants, like Jupiter. Jupiter is in our solar system. Jupiter is a gas giant. It's essentially a failed star. If things had been a little bit different for Jupiter, Jupiter would be a sun. You know, maybe even Saturn. Saturn too. Saturn is a gas giant. I believe Neptune is too. Let me double check that. I don't think Neptune is actually. I think only Saturn and let me check. We have 4 gas giants in our solar system. We have Uranus, Neptune, Jupiter, and Saturn. So essentially those are pretty much failed stars. They could have been stars, but they didn't have enough material or whatever. So now they're just these huge balls of gas, essentially. Literally, there's no solid surface to any of those planets. They're all gas, which is wild when you think about it. When you really think about it, it's pretty crazy and amazing. It's awesome. Anyway, we know this is how it works because we literally can look up with telescopes all over the universe. Well, not all over the universe, but within, you know, where we can see, we see it happening everywhere, pretty much. You know what I mean? All the time. So this is not some weird phenomenon that, you know, we aren't aware of. We see it. We see it all the time. Rocky planets like our Earth and, you know, other celestial bodies like Mars, Venus, Neptune, Pluto, although Pluto is not a planet. Pluto didn't change. Pluto itself didn't change. Our designation of Pluto changed. So Pluto is not a planet, but it's still where it used to be. It's still in the same spot, still, you know, revolving around, you know, doing its, you know, small rocky body thing that it always has been doing. We just learned over time what the classification of a planet actually is. We have since updated information, updated our understanding of what a planet is. So that's why Pluto is not a planet anymore. It's not because Pluto changed. So just to be clear, when it comes to planets like, you know, rocky planets like the Earth and all those other planets that I mentioned, over time, the sun formed and there was a bunch of leftover material that kind of just basically surrounded the sun, essentially. Over billions of years, gravity, because again, everything has gravity. Literally every object that has mass also exerts gravity. Over time, these gases coalesced, you know, particles, dust, you know, again, going back to the whole take a bunch of sand and crush it in your hand, that analogy, that's essentially what gravity does in space, you know? There's no weight, everything's weightless, it just all floats around. So, you know, there's nothing to stop these particles from attracting each other, coalescing. What happens is these gases and particulate matter, rocky stuff, all this stuff forms what's called an accretion disk. This accretion disk is essentially, think of like centrifugal force. When you go to like a carnival or something like that, you know that ride that you can get in where you like stick to the wall and it kind of spins you around, and it spins you around so fast that you can just like be Spider-Man crawling up the wall and stuff like that. I can't do them rides, by the way. I love amusement. Let me side quest a little bit. I'll be side questing. But I love amusement parks. I love, the fair and all that kind of stuff. Anything that goes up and down or, twists this way, you know what I mean? Loop-de-loops, I'm good. But once you start spinning this way, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not built for it anymore. I used to be good with all of that standing, spinning. Now, I don't know what it is. I guess because I'm an old man now. Anyway, so it's kind of the same concept. Some of the sort of the same thing. These accretion disks spin at insane speeds, and then everything just starts to stick together. So over time, these accretion disks become planets. They become, comets, asteroids, pretty much everything. You know what I'm saying? That is how these things are formed. This is the way that they are created. And we know this because we can see it happening elsewhere in the universe. I say all this to say that in order for the Earth to be flat, the laws of physics would have to be different. Like literally, like, again, I spoke about how gravity works, the attractiveness, if you will. I don't mean aesthetically, but I'm talking about like physically in a scientific sense. The attractiveness of things with mass, right? Things that have mass attract each other. We can measure this. We know this. We don't know what gravity is, but we know how it works. And we can measure these things. So we know, we can see it. You know what I mean? I just did the whole thing with dropping the phone. So I don't understand why people still maintain this, the Earth is not a round object thing. Like,
I got
first
a
of all,
question.
go ahead.
What are we living on then? If it's not flat, so some people say it's not.
So
round.
people are upside down
What
on the ball
are
because
we-
of gravity.
Upside down?
Yeah.
What's upside down? Why upside down?
Because
What does
the
that
ball
mean?
has to have a top and a bottom, correct?
Does it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
It's
it's a
a fucking
ball.
So?
Y'all say the
Where's
North
the top
Pole
of a
and the
ball?
South Pole, right?
Where's the top of a ball? Take
You
a
said it's at the
featureless
North
sphere.
Pole.
Take a featureless sphere. Where's the top?
It's not featureless. Y'all say the North
Okay,
Pole
but you
and
you
the
said
South
a ball.
Pole.
You didn't say the Earth. You said a ball. Okay,
That's
so you're
what y'all
assigning-
saying. We are
you're
on
assi-
a ball. You said we live
Yeah,
on the outside
it's
of a
planet.
ball.
So Dave,
Okay,
is
so
the Earth?
you're
it's a sphere,
designating
no?
the North Pole as the top
is
and
the
the
shape
South
of
Pole
the
as the
Earth?
bottom. That's fine. So now, how do we orient ourselves down? Where is down to us? Where's down?
What do you mean, where's down?
Is it towards the ground? Does down mean towards the ground?
towards the gravity. The pull.
Yeah. When you say down, you mean towards the ground, right?
Yeah, that's the ground.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So wherever the you're standing on this thing, wherever the you're standing, down is towards the ground.
But now look
It's
how
towards
the
the center of the
look
earth.
how it
So
look how
nobody's
it
upside
turns.
down.
Look how it
Everybody thinks-
curves, motherfucker.
Huh?
Look how the fucking shit is on the
Yeah,
side
and
of
if
the
you're
ball.
here, down is towards the center of the earth. And
But-
if you're
but you're
here,
standing
down is towards
on
the
the-
center of the
but
earth. And
you
if you're
see how-
here,
and if-
down is towards the center of the earth.
That
This is how
doesn't-
fucking dumb
that
you
doesn't
are.
make
This is
sense.
how fucking
Fuck.
dumb. You
That's how
imagine
dumb
a
you
globe?
are. That shit don't
You
make
think
no
that
fucking sense.
You think that there's
You're
a
on the
magic
side,
down in
and
outer
it's supposed to
space
be
because
tilted,
you're imagining
and
a
it's supposed to
globe
be
in
on
your
an
house,
axis.
and you're
This
imagining
is
the
fucking
ground
ridiculous.
below
Please
the
get this
globe.
clown outta
That's
here,
why you
please.
think that there's a down
All
in
right.
space.
Get this
in
clown outta
reality,
here.
there's no fucking down.
He's trying to get famous.
Magically
Okay,
in
you got
space.
famous off of
down
me.
is towards
Get him
the
out of
center
here.
of the earth. Do you get it? Do you
Get him
understand?
out of here. Down.
Well,
You're out of here. Where are you going?
Down is towards you is what you do to your fucking father. Get out of here.
Oh, now we got the gay jokes coming. He's getting a little mad.
Like, dude, like, what? Seriously? And you know what really, you know what gets my goat? It's a terrible Peter impression. What really saddens me actually is when, you know, and I'm saying this because I had a conversation with somebody about this. This was a long time ago. This was many years ago, but you know, I'm thinking about, I'm reminded of it now as I make this rant. A friend of mine, I was having this conversation with about the shape of the earth, and she just, you couldn't tell her nothing. Like, she just swore up and down, like, yo, you know, there's, you know, because she heard it from somewhere, I guess, or whatever. Because let's be clear, there is zero evidence that any planet is flat, let alone the one we live on, right? Zero evidence, none whatsoever. But she heard it from somebody, and she figured that this person was, you know, because they had, you know, an MD in their name, you know, doctor of medicine or whatever, that they knew about the shape of the earth and that it was flat or something, whatever. So, you know, I kept trying to educate her about what we know about how gravity works, about how accretion disks work, about how stellar nucleosynthesis works, right? Which is essentially stars taking elements and transforming them, right? Like the sun, some cool things about the sun, right? Like just from our observations of the spectroscopy, sorry, I always have a hard time pronouncing that. It's basically the study of light, essentially, and how it interacts with material, essentially. And we can look at the sun and see the light coming from it and tell what it's doing, even on the inside of it, based on the light that comes off of it. That's how smart we are as human beings. Did you know, right? Here's another fun fact, a cool fact. One photon of light, right, that's created within it's basically a small particle of light that is created within the sun, takes something like 300,000 years to get from the inside of the sun to the surface of it. Not 300,000, sorry, 30,000, which is still a lot. One photon of light, it takes one photon of light 30,000 years to travel from the inside of the sun to its surface. And then that same photon of light only takes 8 minutes to get to the earth. Say it again. Photon of light inside the sun takes 30,000 years to get to the surface from the inside of the sun. That same photon of light, traveling at light speed, only reaches our planet in 8 minutes. It's amazing. It's just so, this kind of stuff fascinates me, man. While y'all busy worried about Diddy, I'm looking into stellar fusion and, you know, nucleosynthesis. Like, I'm built different. That's why I never had any friends in high school. No, I'm just kidding. I had a bunch of friends in high school. I mean, because I was always this handsome. So I'm going on a tangent now. Let me get off this side quest. You know, the earth is just not flat. The laws of physics themselves would have to change in order to support a flat earth or any flat planet. You know what I'm saying? That's just not a thing. That's not how the universe works. That's not how reality works. The earth is not flat, you f***ing idiots. It's not. God. I hate that this is a thing. I hate that people are so... Like I said before, there is zero evidence to support a flat earth or that the earth is any other shape but a round thing, right? Technically, it's an oblate spheroid, which has a very specific definition, but it's basically a round ball. You know what I mean? You know, in colloquial terms, it's a round spherical object. And there's no evidence that says otherwise. None evidence, right? All these flat earthers will question what we know, but they never bring actual proof that the earth is flat. And when I try to explain these things to her using actual math and facts and figures, oh, you following the white man's science. This is what you've been taught in school. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, what? Since when is basic knowledge of physics, the sole purview of white people? Like don't say that dumb shit to me, because I'm gonna call you out on it, you stupid. Since when is being smart only for white people? Stop it. Shut up. Get out of here. You don't need a college education for this. You don't need to go to the white man's school for this. You know what I mean? You could do simple experiments on your own. You can sit and watch a ship sail over the horizon. When it goes over the horizon and disappears, it's going over the horizon, the curve of the earth. Like a lunar eclipse. We just had a lunar eclipse not too long ago. You see the shadow of the round earth on the f***ing moon. Like come on. Climb a goddamn tree. Go to a tree that's high enough so that you can see the horizon curve. Like, my God, yo. I don't... A sunset. A nice sunset. You can sit and watch the sun. Lay down on your back, right? At the beach. Go to the beach, lay down on your back. Watch the sunset, right? Once it goes over the horizon and you can't see it anymore, sit up. And watch how you can still see the sun then, because your body has now allowed you to see over the curve of the earth. Like, what? The earth is flat. And if you think anything else, you're following the white man's science. This is what you've been told. You're following what you've been. Get the fuck